Good morning, Digit fam. Adam Dowd here, ready to start off another week an hour early because of that stupid concept called daylight saving time. We got a full week of tech goodies to get you going, so let's get started. It's March 11th, 2019, and this is your Digit Daily. But first, a couple of notes. You may have noticed that the Digit Daily newsletter came in an hour late today. Well, that's because here in the States, it's daylight saving time. But in Europe, it is not, which really just emphasizes the point that daylight saving time is stupid. Just as an FYI, you might notice the newsletter coming about an hour late for the next 2 weeks because daylight saving time is stupid. And did I mention daylight saving time is stupid? Okay, it's stupid. Moving on. And second, a personal note, the 2019 Facebook silence of Adam Dowd has ended. My daughter killed it at her state gymnastics meet yesterday, and Papa had to brag. Of course, the cone of silence extended again right after that, so while I assume people have liked and commented, I actually have no idea. But with that, let's move on to our top story. Over the weekend, some non-official renders leaked out showing off Google's new controller for its cloud gaming service, which will very likely be called Project Stream. People of the internet panned the controller and were savage AF, but the only thing is, those renders weren't even accurate. They were based on a patent filing from 2014 and may or may not be anything close to what the controller will look like. We just don't know, so there's really no point in getting our undies in a bunch, now is there? But there is one thing that we do know. Cloud streaming gaming is coming, and it's coming hard. It is set to be the next disruptor in the gaming industry. We're talking huge. We're talking put a quarter on the arcade machine to call dibs on the next game huge. This is monumental. What is cloud gaming, you might ask? Because I don't know anything about gaming. So I asked Tristan, and he told me that this is a legit thing. Basically, you're renting a high-end computer that's on the cloud, and you can play the F out of it. You may have seen or heard about these ultra high-end gaming rigs coming out of Razer or Asus ROG, which cost thousands of dollars. Well, you can still get that multi-$1,000 gaming experience on a $200 netbook. What's the catch? Well, it's a subscription service, but what isn't these days? You're basically renting a super high-end computer for X dollars per month. And what's the X? Well, that's a good question. $35 a month? More? It's really still shaking out, but if there's one thing that I've learned about gaming, it's that nothing is cheap, and you can expect to be gouged at pretty much every possible turn. So for gamers, $35 a month might not be that bad. But what is nice about this is that you'll get a Netflix-like selection of games, and you'll have continually upgrading hardware. You're not going to drop $3,000 on a PC and watch it slowly get outdated month after month, year after year. This is constantly evolving hardware, and all you really need to take advantage of it is a high-speed, low-latency internet connection, which, yes, that is a hurdle, but it's not an insurmountable one. So this is Project Stream from Google, and it's their crazy idea? Well, yes and no. We have been talking about Project Stream, but it's far from Google's idea, and it's not really that crazy either if you would take into account that 6.5 companies are already working on this and have services out now. There's Sony's PlayStation Now with 650 older games available. There's GeForce Now with 400 games. There's Microsoft's Project xCloud coming in 2020. Nintendo has a service now for our listeners in Japan. Amazon and Verizon are both working on platforms themselves. This story is not the last you've heard about cloud gaming, but it may be the last you hear about Google's ridiculous controller, which isn't even real. But for now, we must put aside our gaming controllers, no matter how ugly or uninspiring they are, and let's head into the roundup! There is a better than average chance that the developer preview of Android Q could drop today. Of course, I've been listening to podcasts that said that last week, so who knows? So what does this mean? Well, for you and I, probably not that much. I never run on a developer build. They're far too buggy for my taste. But it does mean that we're going to start getting some first looks at new features coming to our favorite little operating system, and that someone else will be dealing with the bugs and crashes in order to bring us those first looks, which is better. Remember last week when the Tesla blog announced it was closing all of its retail locations? Well, JK, LOL, the Tesla blog announced today that it wasn't closing all of its locations, just like maybe, possibly, half of them or something. Oh yeah, and they're jacking up the price on the Model X and the Model S as a result. Those plucky Tesla people, they really had you fooled, didn't they? The New York Times has a piece about how the internet travels across the ocean floor. Because here's the thing. The internet is everywhere, and when you think about the internet, you're thinking about 5G and your cable modem, but that's all last mile stuff. How the internet covers the face of the earth is, it travels through the ocean. Because at the end of the day, electricity and data travel much better through fiber and copper than they do through air. So, in order to get your data from here to China so they can spy on you and back, it travels through thick cables run along the floor of the ocean. And, as a bonus, I dug up a couple of extra videos from a few years ago that talk about this stuff too. It's really cool stuff, bit of a rabbit hole though, so might want to wait till your lunch break. Over a quarter of the United States population now owns a smart speaker, meaning an Amazon Echo, Google Home, Apple Home, Echo and Google Home anyway. And of those owners, 60% own an Echo or an Echo Dot, which goes to show you don't have to be first to the market, but it sure helps. What I'm surprised to hear is that it's only 1/4. Come on, people, get the lead out. They're like $30. Go get 3 right now. I'll wait. Actually, no, I won't. Senator Elizabeth Warren is one of 7,562 candidates that are seeking the Democratic nomination for president in 2020. Actually, at this point, I think I'm the only person I know who isn't running for president. But anyway, Senator Warren wants to break up the biggest tech companies out there, namely Google, Amazon, and Facebook. Curiously, Apple was left off the list, but she is sick of seeing large corporations, quote, bullying American cities into giving them handouts to do business there. Oh, and by the way, she was speaking about Amazon in Long Island City, New York, which recently chased out Amazon's HQ2 plans, and now I think we have a better idea of where she was coming from. Yeah, cool story, bro. Twitter is a frothing hellscape of trolls and, well, more trolls. But every now and then you get someone who creates an account that is simple and brilliant. And one such user asks a simple question: if you're playing a video game and you see a dog, can you pet it? And it proceeds to answer that question for every video game you can think of, from Mass Effect 2, where you can pet the dog, to Dark Souls, where you most assuredly cannot pet the dog. This Twitter account lays out all the options for you, so you'll know if scritching will get you killed, in a gamer sense, of course. And finally, much to the chagrin of chauvinistic basement dwellers of the internet, and I'm looking at you, Cosmic Book News, Captain Marvel opened this past weekend and it met with, some level of success. I mean, I guess, if you want to call $153 million domestic and, $455 million worldwide a success, that is. I mean, some might consider that to be a failure, and some might try to stir up controversy anyway because they're just so mad that someone with breasts is doing so well in a comic book movie. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that those people are moronic who should have been drowned at birth, and hey, you're right. But as for me and the rest of the Marvel movie fandom who don't live in mommy's basement, and let's be honest, probably more than a few who do, we are still happy for the success of the Marvel franchise. We can also be happy for Brie Larson and the Captain Marvel character who, whether you like it or not, will be the new face of the MCU for years to come. So that's going to do it for today's Digit Daily. If you'd like to learn more about any of these stories, check out the links in the show notes and subscribe to our daily newsletter on Digit.com. And if you like what you heard, subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast player. Once again, I'm Adam Dowd, Dead Technology on Twitter, and we'll talk again tomorrow.